Yes.
What is going on YouTube? And welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank y'all so much for being with us and joining us. I see Robin is already in
Hi,
the
Robin.
chat. Hey, Robin, thank you so much for being here, Auntie. I love you. And I'm so glad that you're here. And I hope that you're watching before the 90 days. We are doing before the 90 days. This is season 7, if I'm not mistaken. And this is going
Season
to
7,
be
episode
episode
15.
15.
All right.
Yes, episode 15. Thank you once again, Dustin, for suggesting that we watch this show. I was
Yes.
telling Dustin before we went live, and this is probably going to be longer than our previous videos, but because I have a lot to say. But
Yes. We both do.
yes, exactly. But I feel like this season of Before the 90 Days is so much better. This episode that I watched, I'm starting out on episode 15. I'm going to go back and watch it from the beginning this week, so I have a little bit more context. But this episode that I watched gave me more than the entire season of 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way gave me.
Thank you.
It's that the other way was boring to me, and full of couples who were not boring themselves, but it's just that their storylines weren't giving me much. And I feel like the participants didn't have nearly as much charisma and personality as these do. So I feel like we can start out the way that the show started out with, and that is with Ms. Vanya or Ms. Vanya.
Vanya.
Yes. So
Vanya.
Vanya has been on this season, and she was in a relationship with someone by the name of Boja.
Yes.
She came to this other country to be with Boja, but apparently Boja broke it off with her and told her that he had no romantic feelings for her. So she's out on the prowl, Dustin, looking for another man. And when you know she found another man with this man, now I know I'm not pronouncing it the right way, but it's spelled Josko, Josko. I'm assuming it's Josko. So she found this man named Josko, and she found him on a dating site. And you know, they've had a couple of communications or whatever, and so they finally decide to meet. And so they're going to have a date on kayaks. And
kayaks, yeah.
Dustin, when he was, you know, taking off his pants and getting into, they look like straight up boxer briefs to me. They didn't look like swim trunks or anything, but hey, you know, it is what it is. But I was just about to tell on myself. Oh Lord, I was just about to tell on myself. I'm so glad I didn't do that. Anyways, so when he was pulling down his pants, Dustin, even though Vanya had glasses on, I saw that she was looking down at his package. She was looking down at his, you know, trying to see what she was about to get. Anyways, Vanya is she's 41, but she wants to be in love. She wants to be in the arms of a man, and I can really relate to that. I really can. I really desire to be in a relationship, and so I can say that I can relate to Vanya in that way. But you know, they meet and they have great chemistry right off the bat. She's going on and on and on about all his muscles, and you know, is he a muscular guy? I wouldn't necessarily, you know, say that he's muscular, but he's muscular than most men. He's clearly built. He clearly spends some time in the gym, and he's a very, you know, he's an attractive man for his age. He looks good. He's not an unattractive man. So I'm very happy for Vanya in this way. What were your thoughts when they first met, Dustin, and how did you think that things were going to go without going too far into the story?
I didn't think when they first met, I didn't think they were going to work out very far because she's, you know, he has a kid, you know, and I don't know how she feels about kids.
Gotcha.
And I didn't think that she would handle that well because I know I don't want kids, and I know you don't want kids either, Jonathan. Right. So I didn't know if she would handle that well, having him have a kid. I just didn't think she would handle that well. But to my surprise, that she's handling it better than I would handle it.
She is. I'm so glad you brought up that fact, Dustin. So he reveals to her when you know, later that day, she takes him back to her humble abode, and they have a little bit of dinner. They're kissing the entire time. I will say their first kiss was really sweet. It almost looked like a fairy tale to me when they were on the beach. I thought that was lovely to see. So she took him back to her apartment, and or not her apartment, but her hotel, wherever she was staying for the time being. And they had a really good talk, and it came off really natural. It came off as though there was no cameras in the room whatsoever. So I was really, really happy to see that. He revealed to her, though, that he has a 1-year-old foster child, and he's looking into adopting that child. And I thought that was really, really sweet for them. And she said that, he actually said that 90% of the women, when he tells them that he has a child, they run off. But the fact that she didn't, completely reject him after he told her that, he was very happy with that. And she did say that she had some reservations about dating a man with children, but she was open to trying it out. But Dustin, were you surprised at how much they were kissing and how much they were interacting with one another as if they were already in a relationship? Was that surprising to you, Dustin?
It was surprising to me because I didn't expect it.
Right.
But I'm at the point to where in my life I'll do whatever makes them happy makes them happy. But it was surprising.
Right.
It was surprising to me to see it this soon in a relationship, because she was in a relationship with another person on the show, Jonathan.
Just got out of a relationship.
Just got out of a relationship, and I think it's a little bit too soon.
Right.
When you get out of this relationship, just like you were heartbroken.
She is an eager beaver, Dustin, and she's ready to, get in the sack. And I'm surprised that she told him the first thing that she said, he asked her why she was in Spice. I think that's the country that they were in, or the city that they were in. And she, explained to him, I actually came out here, with some, I don't think she necessarily explained that she was in a relationship with that man, but she did explain that.
I'm surprised she even told him that.
I was surprised at that too, Dustin. But she revealed to him that
I would never expect anybody to tell me that on a first date, Jonathan. That is really shocking to me.
I can kind of understand it, and that's because when you get to a certain age, you want to put everything out on the table, and I think that's a great start for them to have such great open communication with one another. And so the fact that they're being so open this early makes me feel as though they have a bright future ahead of them. Now, I don't know how much further they can get when she's apparently about to go back to the US. I don't know how, long distance will work between the two, but I hope that it does work out for the best.
I hope it works for him. But I hope it does. I really do, Jonathan. I really do, because I want to see her happy. But it just really shocked me to see that fast move like that. I didn't expect it. And I don't think any of us expected it, to be truthfully honest with you.
To be honest, just watching this episode, with this being my first introduction to her, the way that she came off, it seems like she's like a young girl. She's really acting like a teenager, that has never been in love before, but wants it so bad. And so I'll be happy to see where things go with Vanya. I'm assuming that she's probably she's at least trying to work things out with this man. So shout out to Vanya. She's really cool. So let's move on to Miles and Matilda. Miles and Matilda are a very interesting couple. I have to say that I saw the love between these two right off the bat.
I did too.
Even though it started out with a preview of Miles revealing to Matilda that he had lost his job. And my mother actually explained to me, my mother gave me some context on these couples, since I haven't been watching it since the first episode, that Miles is on the spectrum. He's on the autistic spectrum. So I kind of picked up on that a little bit while I was watching it, but then when my mother told me about that, I was like, oh, so that makes a lot more sense. And Miles seems to be a person who really wants to be independent, and he really wants to make things happen on his own, and not having to rely on others to do things for him. And I applaud him for that. However, I do think that Miles could use a little bit of help of someone who knows better, and has his best interest at heart. Matilda seems to be an extremely sweet woman. Now, I do believe that she does want to get to America, but I think she wants to get to America to have a better life for herself because they're living. She's living in Africa. I'm not exactly sure the exact country or city in Africa, but she's living in Africa right now. And they were talking about the bride price the same way that Kobe and Emily were in 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. And so that was very interesting to see that come back around. Matilda seems to be so sweet. And so in this episode, Miles calls his parents and he lets them know, drops the bomb on them that he's getting married the next day. And Miles's parents are not necessarily supporting his decision to get married. They feel as though that Matilda is just using him for a green card, I'm assuming, using him just to have a free ticket to America. And I'm not getting that vibe from Matilda at all. And I know that Miles's parents are trying to protect Miles. I get that. I completely understand that, especially with Miles's condition. They probably been doing it all of his life, trying to give him, suggestions and advice and things of that nature. And Miles, I feel as though he isn't amenable to advice. He isn't open to advice because, again, he wants to do everything on his own and he wants to be independent. So that was sad to me to see Miles have to have that conversation, calling his dad father like that. That to me, showed distance between him and his parents. And that was saddening to me.
I'm going to be honest with you, Jonathan. That scene brought me to tears. It really did.
I can imagine it did.
Because of my situation.
Yeah.
So it that really hit me hard, and then, because everything I'm going through currently right now, it's like, that really hit me hard. So I feel bad for him as well. And, because I feel like I just feel bad for him because I feel bad because he wants to be in love, but then they don't want to support the relationship. So it's like,
Robin said down in the comments, okay, I rushed through dinner to make my way to the desktop so that I can be here, be in this chat. Yes, I'm so glad that you're here, Robin. Let us know what your thoughts are on these couples as we're talking, girl, because I would love to hear your thoughts on these couples. But I thought it was such a sweet scene when they were in bed, and he actually told Matilda what his parents' reaction was to him telling them that he's getting married. And she's really worried. She's really worried because she said, when we go over to America, I won't have my mother. I won't have my sisters. I'll be alone. And that's the same thing that Natalia was telling James. The same thing Natalia was saying to James. And
she won't have her support system, basically.
Right.
She won't have her support system. Just like I wouldn't, I'm not trying to make it about myself, but my support system is Jonathan. Yeah, I feel the most loved by Jonathan, and I don't know where I would be without Jonathan, to be totally honest with you. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, Dustin. Robin said down in the comments, Matilda does seem to really love Miles. She also really wants to be coming to America. I understand exactly what you mean by that, Robin. And I do agree with that. But I think she's really sweet. And I feel like she means well. But at the same time, just like you said, Robin coming to America, I think she just wants a better life for herself. But I love the fact that Matilda is supportive of Miles. I feel like I just see the love between them. And I just feel like that is so sweet. And I feel like even though they're going through some rough times now, he's saying that he has to ask someone for a loan. He said that Matilda already asked one of her family members for a loan so that they can pay for this wedding, running into the same issues Josh and Lily were running into with 90 Day Fiance the other way.
Yes.
So a lot of the same things are returning with these 90 Day Fiance shows.
But do you think that they're going to get the money that he needs to get married? Or do you think that they're not going to help him pay for the wedding?
I would hope that he'd be able to get the money that he needs to get married. I would hope. I won't say for sure whether I think he will or not, because I don't like assuming too much with these shows. But I would at least hope, and I'm thinking that they will. A lot of times with these shows, when they have things that they have to get taken care of and they're short on money or something like that, like 85 to 90% of the time, they're able to actually do what it is that they plan on doing. So I'm assuming that they'll be able to work it out.
Right, correct.
Robin says down in the comments, for a minute there, I doubted the authenticity of Miles's autism diagnosis. He's very high. He's very high. High functioning. Yes, he is very high functioning, Robin. And my mother actually said the same thing about Miles earlier today when we were discussing it, that Miles is a very high functioning autistic person. But once again, like once I saw him on the screen, I could see the autism in him. And, it's much more believable than Statler, and her issues, with her anxiety and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? When you're lying, I don't want to say she was lying, but, when you don't have the symptoms and it's not as clear and easily seen, it's harder to believe when you claim to have one of those types of conditions. But it is what it is. But I do like Miles, and he makes you want to root for him. He really does make you want to root for him. Robin says down in the comments, I also find her very pretty. Okay. Oh, striking. Yes, pretty striking. Yes, I do believe she's beautiful. She has beautiful lips. She has beautiful complexion. Yes, I do agree with that, Robin, as well. So hopefully, Miles and Matilda will be able to work things out in the future.
I think they will. They're just going to have a lot of bumps in the route.
Right. Exactly. And although my mother often says love isn't enough, I'm hoping that love will be enough for them to get through whatever types of trials and tribulations come before them. As long as they have each other, hopefully they'll be able to support one another, and be able to have help from the outside. I just wish that Miles's family was more supportive of him and would at least attempt to try to get to know Matilda. But we'll see if that happens later on down the line. But let's move on.
I think it will. Yeah.
I hope it does. The thing about that, Dustin, is especially with that conversation that Miles had with his father over the phone, I can't say that I would expect for them to come around, but I hope that they would. And Robin says that's why it's called a spectrum. Yes, that's why it's called a spectrum, because not all autistic people are the same. Some of them function at different levels, and so yes, thank you so much for that tidbit, Robin.
Thank you, Robin.
Let's move on to Joe and Magda. So Joe and Magda, they're visiting with one another. Now, initially, Dustin, before I talked to my mother about this couple, Joe and Magda, I sort of like them, mainly for Joe. I think Joe's really cute. He seems to be a little immature for being a 34-year-old, at least in my opinion. He's acting like a 20-year-old to me, in my opinion, but that's charming to me. I like to see. I like to see that in action. I like to see that in play while I'm watching the show. And Joe is an extremely laid back person. You know what I'm saying? He wants to take things one day at a time. He's not in a rush to do anything. He's not moving too fast. However, Magda is not on that level whatsoever. She wants to get married. She's expecting a proposal. She has expectations. And I have a feeling, Dustin, that Magda has a mission, and her mission is to get to the U.S.
Her mission is to get to the U.S. and get the green card and get away from him.
Exactly. And what's so bad about this, Dustin, is Joe is so charismatic and he's so attractive, and it's like he could. And mind you, they have not had sex at all. They have not had sex as of yet. And I don't know if Magda has an excuse for that.
And that's a big red flag to me.
Yeah. It's Magda. I don't know if she's waiting until they're married or she's waiting until, Joe actually has a plan for them to go to the U.S. or unless she's waiting for him to propose. I don't know what her plans are. But Magda, I feel like she has ulterior motives, and I can't respect that, and I don't like that when she's doing that to that fine man. Dustin, what are your further thoughts on Joe?
I don't like that. I don't like that, Johnson. I don't like it because she's giving me the green card vibe, and that's why a lot of people don't get approved for green card, because somebody like her.
Right.
In my opinion, she is a scammer. she's scamming him for that green card,
Right.
and uh, I don't think she deserves to be in the United States with him. And I'm not gonna say it. It's not gonna last, Jonathan.
I hope it
It's not.
doesn't.
I hope it don't last because he is gonna be. He is going to be. Uh, she. They're just not gonna last to me because I
Mm-hmm.
can see it. I can feel it. I can feel it. I don't feel the love. I don't feel the support. I don't think that he's supporting her like he needs to at all. Not
Right.
one darn bit. There's no way. There's no way that if I, I could never be with somebody that wasn't supporting me the way I needed to be supported. And
Right.
that goes with the people that I surround myself with. Uh, as
Exactly.
currently, I need a lot of support and love, Jonathan, and I have to make for sure that I get that love and support. And
Yeah.
if I
It's
don't get it, I if I don't get it, then I have to remove myself from that person. And
exactly.
that's the way that I process things, and the way that I people. As you know, Jonathan, the things that I go through is not very easy at all.
right.
It's things that I have to, I depend on my friend to lift me up very much. I would need
Absolutely.
this. Yes.
And it's my pleasure to do so, Dustin. Robin said down in the comments, Joe is a complete ass. He doesn't know that her name is Magda, not Magna. Um, I'm not going to fault him on that, Robin, simply because Magda doesn't have good intentions, and so he can call her whatever he wants to. He's not getting no cat, no kitty cat, and he's waiting with this girl, and he's with her, and he's I'm glad that he's not like spending money on her and going out of his way to do things for her and things of that nature. He did cook for her in this episode, and he
Right.
explained to her that marriage is not something that he's rushing to do. And he also questioned the fact that she moved to Germany or Berlin or wherever for an ex-boyfriend. Oh, after only dating him for 3 months and moving
Uh,
to another city or country or outside of your home for a relationship after only being together for a couple months, that is a red flag to me. Robin said down in the comments, "You are so right, Dustin. She wants the green card. Exactly. She does want the green card. So
I could tell that
um,
from day one.
exactly.
Right.
So yeah, that's that for Magda and
And it's just sad to me, Robin. It really is. It's really sad because I know people that are genuine people that apply for this green card, people that are genuine. I know there's plenty of people that don't that get declined this visa, Jonathan, because of this situation right here. And
mm-hmm,
when a person can see it on a physical TV or on a physical streaming service, then I can't believe that TLC is even that they even allowed her to be on this show because to me, I can see the red flags right there when you watch the show. So I just see a bunch of red flags there. I really do.
right. Yes. Robin said down in the comments, as an aside, yesterday I started watching the latter daters or later daters on Netflix. It's so good. Actually, my mom is watching that show on Netflix, Robin. Because of the age range of those people, I'm not necessarily interested in watching it. It's just not my thing. But let me know how you like it, Robin. Well, you already said that is so good. But yeah, don't. I would say don't expect me to do no reviews on it, and I probably won't be watching it. But good for you, girl. But that's all we got for Joe and Magda. Let's move on. We got three more couples, and they
Mhm.
all include people that I cannot stand, Dustin. So
I can't
let's
stand
just
Roy and what's her name? Roy and somebody else. I can't think of her name now.
Vea,
Vaya.
Vea, Rory, and Sunny. Let me
Yeah.
tell y'all, if y'all want to see a man with some beautiful eyes, make sure you watch Before the 90 Days, season 7. Sunny has the most gorgeous, beautiful eyes I have ever seen on a man. He's so sweet. He's so nice. He's so kind. He's so sincere. And the fact that that Vea is stringing her man Sunny and her ex, who is now her friend Rory, she's stringing both of them along, and she's having her cake and eating it too. From the moment I saw her, Dustin, I did not like her at all, and I think that's because I saw how nice and sweet Sunny was, and she didn't seem like she fit with him whatsoever. And it seems like she's used to men doing whatever it is that she wants them to do. And I don't respect that whatsoever. When you come into a relationship, you come in, with all the things that you bring into the relationship, but you can't expect your partner to bring everything into the relationship, and you just sit there looking pretty. Like, yes, she's a pretty girl, but Sunny can do better. Okay, yes. Sunny can do better. Okay,
and I hope that they don't. I'm just gonna say it. I hope they don't last.
I'm saying the same thing.
I don't feel like that. I don't feel like that he. I feel like he deserves better, Jonathan. And I don't think that she can bring. I don't think that she can bring what he needs for her to bring. And I don't think that she can. She doesn't even want to convert to his religion,
right?
And that is one big red flag to me, because she told him, or whatever, they told each other that you have to be converted to the religion to be married. Well, she ain't gonna do it. So that's one big red flag to me right there. I can't. I don't like her. I don't like her.
I don't like her either. So apparently on the previous episode, before I get to that, Robin has another comment here. It's my demographic. You know that I'm 60. I just talk. I'll just talk to Mama Lee then. I had no idea how old you were, Robin. Oh my gosh, you are giving me young girl. Okay, but thank you for letting me know. So yes, now I understand why you would be more prone to watch it than me, because honey, it's just not my thing. It's really not. I'm sorry. I'm here for the young love. But hey, I'm not leaving you out whatsoever, Robin. You still in the family, honey. But yeah, Vea. And apparently Sunny and Rory got into an argument on the previous episode, and Sunny was man enough to.
And I can explain that to you if you want me to, because I watched the whole thing.
Go ahead, Dustin. Let me know what happened between them.
They was in a bar, and they were playing pool in this bar, and they got in a great big fight, and he left. He left, and then they went chasing after each other. They started chasing after each other because she wanted to be with him, but then she didn't want him to leave, and so she said, "Well, you can either stay in the hotel or you can tell him to leave." So she made him stay in a hotel. They made her stay in a hotel, and they didn't get back together for a couple of days because they had a great big old fight because of him being there. I guess he didn't want He didn't want him to be there, so
right.
And they had a great big fight after all that. So then they started having a great big old fight in the hotel room and everything else. So
anytime you introduce your ex-lover into your new relationship, don't expect things to be all peachy keen. Don't expect things to go your way. But this is clearly what Vea is expecting. She's expecting things to go her way, and it's so. And it's so irritating to me that she has these two really good men, these two beautiful men, these two men who will do anything for her, and she's just stringing them along. Go ahead, Dustin.
I don't think that she should even have brought him on the plane when she went to. She brought him on the plane when she first got there.
When she first got to South Africa, that's where he lives.
Yeah, they went to South Africa, and they got on the plane together, and they went on the same plane. Now, what the hell did you go on the same plane for?
If I found out that my man brought his ex over to visit me, we wouldn't be together no more. Like that's it. That would be
Hell
the end of our
no.
relationship. There would be no more us. Okay. No, don't do that. And I understand a lot of people can be friends with their exes. I understand that that's possible. I don't know in my mind how I would be able to figure that out. But
Yeah.
because I've never been in a relationship before, so I'm not
No.
privy to that type of information. But this is not what I'm reading. I'm reading that Bea is still interested in Rory. Now, do I think that they're still doing their thing? Do I think that they're still having relations? I wouldn't believe that because Rory, the way that Rory is acting, it doesn't make it seem like that they're actually that he still wants to be with her. It doesn't. He doesn't make it seem like he still wants to be with her. However,
Nope.
I'm wondering what is the connection or what is the attachment that he has to her that he feels like he still has to be in her life. I feel like Bea is in some way manipulating him into still being around her. Go ahead.
They had a miscarriage. She was
Oh,
pregnant.
okay.
She was pregnant, and they had a miscarriage. And I guess uh, after the miscarriage, I felt they grown closer to each other. So I didn't even know she was pregnant until the latest to the last episode that we just had, episode 14, because they didn't even tell us about her being pregnant until uh until the latest one. So I
Wow.
didn't even realize she was even pregnant.
I guess that gives us a little bit more context. But Sunny is like yeah, I told my mother earlier today that Sunny kind of reminds me of Manuel. Remember Manuel from 90 Day
Yes,
Fiance, who was with
yeah,
Ashley? Sunny
yeah.
kind of reminds me of Manuel a little bit, but Sunny seems a little bit more mature than Manuel was. I kind of looked at Manuel as like kind of like a teenager who was a grown man.
Yeah.
But Sunny is like his. I would just get so lost in his eyes. Like his eyes were just so gorgeous, just so gorgeous. And he tries everything. And they had this conversation about the fact that she hasn't met his parents yet. And she's upset with the fact that Sunny wants her to cover up her tattoos because he is Muslim. And the women in the Muslim religion and in that culture, they are all covered up for the most part. And I'm assuming that they don't get tattoos either. I don't know that for sure. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong about that in the
No,
comments.
they don't have any tattoos.
Right, but she feels as though Sunny is trying to change her. And there's a difference between because if he wanted to try to change her, he would tell her to remove the tattoos, not just cover it up for when she's meeting his parents. But if he wanted to change her, he would just move on to the next one.
Can
I
I
don't
just
know why he's with her, but I hope that Sunny finds another woman that will treat him the way he deserves to be treated, so that she would get the spoils of the good man Sunny and not this other woman, Bea. Go ahead, Dustin.
right when you get when you're in a relationship, Jonathan, your whole life changes.
Right,
So why she had if she wants to be in this current relationship with this guy, you have to make sacrifices just like
right.
everything else, and you have to understand where he's coming from as well. As well,
And she
um,
refuses to do that.
she don't understand where he's coming from.
And she
Uh,
doesn't want to understand.
Nope, she doesn't want to understand. Thank you, John. She doesn't want to understand it at all, and she needs to because if she don't understand it, then she ain't gonna last much longer. That's just my
And I
opinion.
hope that she doesn't. I hope that at the tell all. But something tells me that because of the way that Sunny is, and because he can probably seemingly, I won't say probably, but because he
Right.
seemingly could be manipulated with love, or what they may consider to be love. I don't have the most confidence that he
But
will leave her. I would
but
hope
but
that
I
he
think
would, but I
but
don't
I
think he
think
would.
but I think for the long haul, Jonathan, I think that he's gonna be miserable with her if
Yes.
they do get married because she does not want to make the changes that she has to make in order to be with him. Uh, I'm not saying that she has to be convert to Muslim, but I'm saying that she has to make some sacrifices in a relationship. Uh, and that's the downright period. It don't matter who you are. It doesn't matter. It could be me. It could be anybody on this live. It could be me. Anything on here. But everybody, your life doesn't stay the same forever. Your life
Right.
changes. So as it changes, we have to make the changes in our life to adapt to the changes. I don't like to have to adapt to change because I'm a person I'm not a big fan of change, and I know that Jonathan's not a big fan of change either. But we have to adapt to change. But even she don't want to adapt to the change. She just does not want to adapt to it at all.
Yes, Destin. I am a creature of habit. That is, sometimes I feel like that's my biggest flaw. But so that's who Vea is, and the reason why she hasn't changed is because she hasn't had to change as of yet. So,
I don't like change either, Jonathan. So me and you are on the same
right.
point.
So the only way I want to see Sunny on another season is with a woman who deserves to be with him, a woman who
No, I
deserves.
don't want. I
Rory
don't know.
and Sunny deserve better.
I don't know if I want to see them back on another season.
Not
I
with
don't.
her.
Not with her. I don't. With somebody else, I do, but not with her. Nope. And I hope
Yeah.
that she don't. I hope that she don't move over to the happily ever after program. Because I know they're filming for the new season for happily ever after, and I hope
Hmm.
she don't move over there because I don't want to see her. Nope.
No, ain't no happily ever after with Vea in the picture whatsoever. So
Nope.
so let's get off of them because she's bad juju. Let's go to Brian and Ingrid. So
Okay.
uh, Brian, my mother actually ended up telling me that Brian is allegedly a former drug dealer. And
He is. He would.
oh, okay. So when I heard that, if you guys have ever watched the Power Universe or any shows that kind of depict drug dealing, I don't even know if I can say that on YouTube. I guess I can say that on YouTube. Drug dealing, and so a lot of times they do a lot of gaslighting with their partners. They try to make whenever their partner has an issue or a question about something, they're always
Right.
gaslighting them. They're always trying to make it seem like it's something that it's not. When they're of course they sometimes they want to try to protect their lover in that case, but
Yeah.
Brian is the worst.
He
In
is
the
the worst.
previous episode, Ingrid just found out that he has 4 ex-wives and had been engaged 3 times with 3 other women prior to all of that. And
Mhm.
she's just now finding this out. She tells him that she needs space, and Brian doesn't respect that or
Nope.
want to go along with that.
Mm-mm.
Brian wants to be in control of this relationship. He wants it his way, and Ingrid is not
Or
the girl
his
for
way or the
him.
highway. His way or the highway.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. And Ingrid is not that girl. And when they sat down at the table after they had had some space, and he said, I don't think you love me. When you kiss me like you're my grandmother. He said that she thinks that she's just using him to get a green card so that she can bring her kids over to America. She's accepting his hotel. She's accepting his flight, tickets or whatever the case may be. He feels like Ingrid is using him. And Ingrid said, "Using you?" She said that she said straight up said to him, "That's BS." She got up and walked off. She should have slapped him. And I said something earlier to my mother, but I'm not going to say it on this live because that would be extremely mean to Brian. But Brian does not deserve Ingrid whatsoever. Ingrid seems to be a well-meaning woman, and yeah, it's crazy.
Well,
Robin says Brian is creepy. The next man that we're going to talk about, Robin, is the creepy one to me. Brian is just an a-hole in my opinion. Go ahead, Dustin.
yeah. I think that I know that I'm gonna say allegedly, but I know it's true because I've seen the record. Uh,
Mm,
he's already been he's allegedly been to prison for drugs, and I've seen the records, Jonathan. I've seen people post the records on the internet. So
wow.
I think that he's been in there for drugs, and and he's been in there for a long time. He was in there for a long time. He's out now. I'm
Hmm.
surprised they're even touching him with a 10-foot pole on
Right.
what time with the 10-foot pole what he's been charged with and what he has a record for. So
Right.
I'm surprised that TLC even put him on here, uh, because I don't like Brian at all.
Me
Uh,
either.
I don't I don't Brian and Ingrid could both leave my TV screens. That's just how I feel about this couple. I do not want to see them back next season at all. Uh, season 8, when they film next season, I don't want to see them back on here. I think the TLC needs to cut ties because I think TLC could get in trouble for even having him on this current season.
Brian has been lying to Ingrid ever since she came over to wherever it is that they are. I think they're in Brazil at this time.
Brazil, yes.
And hey, Lady Virgo's in the chat. Hey, girl. But he's been lying to her nonstop. He told her that he was 40 something. Turns out he's 51. You know what I'm saying? And I think he told her that he ended up in a wheelchair because of a woman that he was with. But I have a feeling that it has something to do with his drug dealing past.
He said on the first episode, Jonathan, he said he got shot. So
okay.
I think he got shot because of what his drug use, allegedly. I think that he was not in the right frame of mind, because I know what drugs can do to a person, but I don't think he was shot when he was doing the deed, we'll say.
Right.
Yeah, but he was doing the deed, and I think that's what kind of screwed him up.
It seems like that's what the case is, but I don't trust Brian. I do not like Brian. He's extremely entitled, and I cannot respect that whatsoever. I think he feels like the world owes him something. I don't know if that has something to do with him now being paralyzed from the waist down. He's talking about he wants to have sex with Ingrid, but he doesn't have any feeling, from the waist down, and so he says he uses the big V to get himself up. But
he makes people like me and my situation look terrible. I have said this before, and I'll say it again, because people like him, I don't like that people, kind of like the people, because my situation is not the easiest at all, not easy at all for me, and he makes me, a person like me, look like the stuff that I can't do. It makes me feel like it makes me feel like damn, but it just makes me feel like that I'm not worthy, I guess, or worthy enough.
But anyone who meets you, Dustin, will get to know your personality and know that you're not the Brian type. But he does give people in wheelchairs a bad name. Robin says down in the comments, "Come on, TLC and the 90-day universe has had a plethora of felons on. And that does not surprise me whatsoever, Robin. They'll probably take anybody these days, especially with all of these spin-offs of 90 Day Fiance that they have. It seems like they're letting anybody on the show." Right. Let's move on to our final couple, Lauren and Faith. So Faith is a trans woman from Indonesia, if I'm not mistaken, I think. And she's with Lauren. Lauren gives me creeper vibes, as Robin said about Brian. Brian's a little creepy too, but Lauren is the ultimate creep, in my opinion. He contracted an STD and lied about how he ended up contracting it. He's apparently in Indonesia because they're not in Indonesia. They're in the Philippines. Yes, the Philippines. I'm sorry. They're in the Philippines. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why I said Indonesia. But yes, they're in the Philippines. Faith is let me just say this really quickly. Faith is such a beautiful woman. And Lauren does not deserve Faith whatsoever. Faith has such great spirits. And the whole conversation that they were having on that roof, Faith's facial expressions told me that she's not here for Lauren and his BS. And I'm so happy about that. However, the fact that she's still with him lets me know that he still has a hold on her. I really will not be interested in seeing them interact together like a couple, like kissing and all that good stuff. Like because Lauren just gives me creeper vibes. The way that he smiles all the time, that smile is so deceptive, and that there's nothing good behind that smile. And yes, we did see him get a little bit emotional when she told him that she thought that he was flirting with a drag queen. Apparently, they went to a drag show on the previous episode, and he explained himself. I guess because the cameras were there, we can understand that his explanation seemed to be the truth. However, Faith has every right to be to have those feelings of him possibly cheating on her, because he's cheated on her in the past. And for a man like Lauren, not to say that cheating is okay, cheating is not okay.
Cheating is not okay in
any circumstances whatsoever. But for a man like Lauren, who has a woman like Faith, I can't get with that whatsoever. Like, I like Rob from 90 Day Fiance,
Rob
Happily Ever
Sophia.
After, who was with
Right.
Sophia. I like Rob more than I like Lauren. Lauren is the lowest common denominator. I cannot stand Lauren. I don't like him. He gives me creeper vibes. I just he's the person that I least like on this show because of the way that he's doing this woman on national TV. Dustin, what were your thoughts on Lauren and Faith?
I don't like them. And I know I said this plenty of times on these couples tonight, but I just don't I don't these couples some of these couples they're not a good match for each other, and he's one of them. I don't see the love and support, and I'll say it again. I do not see the love and support for her or him, but I don't see it. I don't see it lasting at all. I really don't, because it's. I just see a bunch of red flags. In this episode, Jonathan, especially these couples that you were mentioning, I don't think that they are going to last at all, and I think only couples that are going to last are the oh, I forgot her name now.
Faith.
Yeah, yeah, Faith. I don't think she's gonna. I don't think she's gonna last. No, I don't think she is.
I hope that they don't last. I want to see Faith with a man who loves her and treats her the way that she deserves to be treated. Apparently, he wants to actually live in the Philippines because he's trying to dodge child support, which does not surprise me whatsoever. He seems like an ain't shit type person, and I can't get with that whatsoever, and I don't respect it either. But I will say though that this was a great introduction for me to 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. I was really happy to get introduced to all these couples. Thank you once again, Dustin, for suggesting that we review this show. I got so excited when I started watching the show and saw Vanya or I forgot her name already, but the first woman that we spoke on that got into what seems to be a new relationship with the man. I got giddy immediately. Lady Virgo in the comments says, did you start watching before the 90 days show yet? Yes, that's what we're talking about. Rob and Sophie and Gino and Jasmine or on this one. We're reviewing before the 90 days now, Lady Virgo, and neither one of those couples, Gino or Jasmine or Rob and Sophia, neither one of them are on this season.
But they are on the last resort though.
So okay.
They're on the last resort, Jonathan. So after this show ends, we'll just do the last resort because we have a lot to cover with the last resort. They're not these people are not in a good relationship. The people that we have been talking about on the last resort, they are done for, and Rob and Sophia are one of them. So
okay. See, to be honest, I sort of kind of feel like I'm over Rob and Sophia. I'll still keep watching them because of Rob, because that man's so fine. But you know what I'm saying? I'm really not interested in their storyline because they keep going around in circles and having the same communication issues and them not wanting to be completely open with one another or not being able to see each other from each other's viewpoint or standpoint. But excuse me, that's what happens sometimes in relationships. Mamir is in the chat. First time for 90 Day Fiance. Mamir, what's going on, Mamir? Mamir says in the chat, hey, Lady Virgo and Robin Moore. Thank you so much for being here, Mamir. Love you, girl. Thank you so much for joining us. So that's all we have for this review before the 90 days, season 7, episode 15. Dustin, why don't you go ahead and give us your social media contacts really quickly?
My social media is Dustin Butler 700 Instagram. Yeah, my Facebook is Dustin Butler. Thank you, Jonathan, very much for always being there. I love you very much. Thank you for that.
I love you too, Dustin. Thank you, guys. My Instagram is JoJo_speaks 3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is williamjonathanlee@gmail.com. My Cash App is $Jonathan Lee 07. That's $JONATHAN 07. Thank y'all once again for joining us for this episode. Make sure you guys join us next week. Same time, same place, same beautiful faces. Until then, we'll say bye for now. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Love you guys for watching. Take care out there.
Love you all.